Hello, everyone. A very, very good evening.
Hi Snehal.
Hello. Hi, Amol. Hi, Ankur. Hi, Ashwin. And a lot of them that I can see on the screen. Hi, Shrikant. Hi, Nimble.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll start now, Snehal. So
Sure.
yeah, so yeah,
Guys, please accept my apologies for joining in a little late. I'm sure you're all able to see me. Everybody?
yes, we are able to see you.
Great. So I will not take much time, and let me quickly go ahead and quickly introduce myself to you. My name is Snehal, and I come with the 22 years of experience in the industry of training, coaching, and mentoring. And today I'm going to help you with the most important aspect, which is resume building. So if I can see how many of us, and I know the participants who have joined are interested for resume building, but let me, before even I start sharing my screen, I want to understand if you have any questions about resume building, please give me 10 minutes towards the end of the session where I would be able to address all your questions. So can I see you all typing in and mentioning that yes, we are good to go ahead? Are we? Can I see
You
the
can
chat?
raise
I
your
do
hand.
not
You
seem
have
to quite,
enabled chat
for
option.
some reason, I'm not able to see the galleries. Just give me one quick second. I'm only able to see myself. Why would that be? Soumya?
Yes, Snehal.
I'm not able to see the participants. Why would that be?
I've made you the co-host, so I think you would be able to see.
I'm not able to see anyone. I'm only able to see our logo and I'm only able to see myself. In gallery, I can only see you and me. That's it.
Okay, so I think you can see the participants list.
I cannot see the participant list as well. Yes, now I can see. I can only see the list, but I cannot see the window out there on my screen.
To see the chat option,
I can see the chat option. Absolutely, yes.
I think we can continue for now.
Okay, fine. So, yes, I can see everybody giving a message as good to go ahead. Right, guys, please confirm if you are all able to see my screen.
Yes, Snehal.
Okay, great. Let me go ahead. Just give me a quick minute here. So, what we're going to talk about, we would be talking about creating a winning resume, right? And for a fact, we all are aware that this is a document which helps me display my skills, my abilities, my responsibilities that I take care of. It also helps me display who I am, right? So, how many of you understand that it's it is a document which helps me to project myself or make or build my brand in the market? A quickly yes or a no. In one of my last sessions we dealt with uh, building a personal brand, right? So this creating a winning resume is something that communicates your brand, who you are and what makes you different for you to apply for a particular profile. It helps you to showcase your talents to the employers and recruiters. And guys, in a tough job market, you need to have a resume that helps you stand out in a sea of applications. As recruiters, we get n number of resumes, right? How do I know what skill sets do you come with, what your objective is, what your summary is, right? So ultimately, the complete purpose of creating a winning resume is to strategically target and polish your resume so that you get selected for an interview, right? So this winning in this resume would be assisting you to get an for an interview and not for the job, right? It tells the employer about your skills, your work history. It highlights the items that indicates you're qualified for the position and you bring the desirable skills to the job, right? This document, what we would be talking about, would act as a bridge between you and the prospective recruiter. And hence, guys, it's very, very important for you to understand that how my resume can be different from others. There are various options on internet where you can go ahead and create a resume, wherein I would be helping you in the upcoming slides. And we all know that interview is something where we have to make a first impression. But before even we go in for an interview, this document would help me make my first impression. It is imperative that your resume should stand out of the crowd first. And then it depends on how do you process your interview techniques, right? So it is up to you how do you want to be remembered by the hiring manager. Since companies and the recruiters do not have much time to go through the resume, they would take very little time to work or to look at your resume. And the most important thing, guys, rejection happens and it goes on and on until they find something very, very interesting in a particular resume. So, this is the time we need to focus on a well structured, clean, and precise resume, right? Now, you might be thinking why it is so important to have a resume. Yes, let's find out why it's important. So, in today's session, we are going to work on the purpose of resume and how to create an effective resume. Now, most of the hiring managers will tell you that they use a resume as a screening tool. And yes, it's the fact they use this as a screening tool to select are you the right candidate for the job, right? Are you the right candidate to rule out? Some hiring managers at times do the screening themselves. Most of the times they would get it done from the other persons. Nowadays, the computers are also doing the screening for them. So we would also look into the ways of how do we make our resume perfect. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this session by switching the role. Okay, I would request you all to be my interviewers for the next couple of minutes, right? So what I'm going to do is, Soumya, are you there with me?
Yes, Snehal.
Okay, I want you to set a timer for 30 seconds. Would you please help me doing that? Team, are we ready to be in the shoes
Yes.
of a recruiter? Yes, no, quickly. Can I see the chats coming in with a yes or a no? Okay, one person. Okay. Right. So, what is that you're supposed to do? I would be sharing a couple of resumes with you. You need to identify the resume only for 30 seconds. Right. So, once I display the resume on the screen, you will get 30 seconds and we would go ahead and discuss it in further. Right. Are you all able to see the resume, guys? Soumya, are you able to see the resume?
Yes, I'm able to see the resume.
Okay, great. And 30 seconds starts right now. These are the couple of resume samples that I've picked it up from Google. So please identify and tell me which one would be selected and which one would be rejected. So this is option A. Soumya, let us know when 30 seconds are over, okay?
Sure.
I guess my recruiters are looking at the resume and they are screening it. Are we?
Time is up.
Great, thank you so much. Let's move to option B.
So your time starts now.
Great, thank you so much. So let's see what Craig's resume has. He comes with an objective, summary of skills, software knowledge, education. He has mentioned his achievements as well. Wow, great. Go through each and every aspect of this resume, guys, because you have to help me understand why it is selected and why it is rejected. Right? Let us know when the 30 seconds are over.
Time up.
Thank you so much. Let's go and check option C.
Your time starts now.
Yes, mentioned his work experience. Okay, education interests is something different on this resume. Volunteer experience is also something that's been added. Technical skills, soft skills are added. Okay, good.
Time up.
Thank you so much. And let's see the last one. Option D.
Time starts now.
Thank you so much, Soumya. Here, what's different? Relevant experience. Okay, internships is something that's been added here. Okay, college highlights, education. Okay, are we done? Screening.
Yes, time up.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Soumya. Soumya, could you also help me read the chats because I'm not able to, you know, let me see if I can. Okay, option C is the best. Let me see. Crisp and to the point. Option C. Okay, a lot of them looks organized. Alignment is problematic. Okay, uh, fine. Guys, what we're gonna do is let's go ahead and see the resumes once again. Right? Help me understand with the first resume. I would love you to please share your feedbacks in the chat. And let's talk about the font, the alignment, email address, content, and any other mistakes that you can identify on this resume. Let me know whether this is selected or rejected. Okay, let me see what are we typing in the message, the chat. Rejected. Okay. Thank you so much. Reading font is not good, difficult to read. Okay, Gopi Krishnan. Ankur says font information is not enough. Not professional. Prajwal has rejected this one. Okay, Prajwal. Yes, guys, I'm waiting. I'm waiting. You are my recruiters. You are my people who are screening this these resumes. Apart from not professional, apart from being rejected, what else do you think shouldn't be there? Anyone? Okay, heading points are not highlighted and can be a little more detailed. Okay, I agree. Absolutely. Look at the font. How does it look? Right? He might have added his education. So in this resume, I literally have to do a lot of process of looking at where is what, right? I literally have to go and see, okay, where is the education? Where is the experience? What are the qualifications? What are the technical skills or the soft skills that this person is looking for? So this is rejected. I completely echo and agree with you. Let's move to the next one and see what does this say. Craig's. Is this selected or rejected, guys? Let's see. Not arranged sequentially. Qualification and education, Moninder says. Okay. We are talking about the option B, rejected. Okay. Fine. Also help me understand the reason why it's rejected. Reading is a little tough due to center alignment. Okay, Nimble. Yes, I agree. I echo the thought. What else? Alignment, too many bullets. Okay. Option B, also not arranged sequentially. You remember in our English textbooks, we used to have this resume looks like a format of a poem that we had in a book. Remember, an English poems that we had? Does not look professional, Sunita. I agree. Anything else that you would like to address? People are able to identify work experiences having company address. Is it required? Not really. Not really required. It will be hard to get information from this. Yes, Ankur, it's difficult to get information. I literally have to use my glasses and see, okay, fine, where is what? Not readable at all. Great. So we all are in the same boat. It's rejected. Craig's resume is rejected. Okay. How about option C? A couple of you guys said that option C is selected. Why would you say that? Well organized. Okay. Looks organized. Fine. Apart from being organized, is this for the US market? Uh, this can be accepted for us as well. A clear format, yes. Totally your experience is missing. Okay, Nimble, that can be added. Font is fine, easy to extract information. Okay, absolutely, Ankur. What else? So if you look at the name, you can also see the position or the let me show you. He's a computer scientist. So it's clearly mentioned what is he working as, right? So if you see his Gmail ID, his telephone number, his place, LinkedIn ID, GitHub ID, everything is quite, updated in the header column. How about the colors, guys? The colors that are used on this resume, is it okay? Too much color, okay. Information is well presented. Role is also mentioned. Font is fine, easy to extract. Okay, fine. Too much of color. Somebody says yes. Colors look okay to me, Pradeep. Yes. So I'm going to tell you a couple of tips and tricks about this. Colors are okay. Thank you so much. Color looks fine. Okay, great. Let's go ahead and see the next resume. Option D. Let's look at the education. Do we really need education here? Do we really need this college highlights? I do not really know how it's going to help you with the college highlights. The work experience, okay. Internships, relevant experience. What is the difference between the work experience and the relevant experience here, guys? If you can help me understand. Work experience should be first. Okay, too many details. Okay, internship, then actual work experience. Okay, fine. Too much theory. Absolutely, I agree. Not aligned. Fine. What else? Content looks good. Okay, but arrangement of topics is not correct, Pradeep. Content is again something that I am a little confused about here because do we really need the work experience and the relevant experience? Unnecessary information. Yes, absolutely. That's given out there. Cramped up and overstuffed. Absolutely right. So a good job done, guys. This looks so only option C is what we have selected. And I'm sure you would be meeting this person in your interview. Right. So let's go ahead and see why I gave you 30 seconds is what the interviewer also looks at, right? So I am sure when you were looking at the resume, you were not only focusing on the color, the font, you were also looking at the various aspects of it, right? And when I talk about that, how much is it relevant on your resume is something that is very, very important. So let's see what is a resume first. How many of you know the difference between these four things? So today in this session, guys, I'm going to take you, I know we have a mixed crowd. I know we have people who are coming with a good amount of experience and you know how to work on a resume. There are also some of us who wants to know and understand the basics of, so we would be starting from the basics and then I would be moving it to the other levels of resume building. So how many of you know what is biodata? Have you ever heard somebody saying a document that talks about you as a biodata? Soumya, can you help me read the chat, please? All the time I have to go and select the chat. Could you please help me?
Yes, Snehal. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Nobody's answered.
Guys, have you ever heard what is biodata or
Never
profile?
seen a biodata.
You've never seen a
Symbol says
biodata.
your and family details in biodata.
Absolutely, yes. It's a detailed version of your personal profile, which is shared for marriage sites, guys, right? So please do not share your biodata. This is This is something that talks about the color, your hobbies, your likes and dislikes, and so on. There are a lot of details about your family in your biodata, so please let's not share the biodata. Okay, what's a profile? Who can help me understand what's a profile?
Anybody from the audience?
Who can help me understand what's a profile? These are the documents that talks about who I am. What are the skills that I
Pradeep
come
Kumar
with?
says it could be social media profile,
Okay.
like a job profile.
No.
Profile is to explain about ourselves and social.
Not really, Pradeep. Very close to. Profiles are used mostly by trainers, celebrities, coaches, where they talk a lot about their work, their projects that they are on, right? So it is not a kind of a resume or a CV, but yes, it gives an information about the projects that I would have been worked on, right? So if I have to create a document about myself, that would be a profile, right? What is the curriculum vitae, which is called as a CV? Anybody who can help me understand what is a CV? Yes,
I
are we
think
answering?
it's when we focus more on education. Moninder Kaur says.
More on education. Not really, Marinder. Anybody else who would like to add what is a curriculum vitae? One difference
Pratwal says,
between
could you please repeat
what is it about the profile. Okay, profile is used mostly by the trainer, coaches, mentors, the celebrities, where they talk about their work, their projects, right? So, yes, if I have to work on my profile, I would add where I have worked on, but that information would be less. The information that I would add on my profile would be the kind of work I have done about my. I can add my webinars into my profile. I can add the assignments that I have taken, and so on in detail, right?
Yes,
Curriculum
Nimble
vitae.
says CV is used for professional information, including education.
Okay.
Madonna says CV and resume is almost same.
Okay. There is a slight difference between a CV and a resume, guys, and I'll let you know what the difference is. A curriculum vitae is a detailed version which is used mostly by the senior management, people who comes with an experience of more than 15 years. Right? We will also talk in detail about how much the length of your resume or your curriculum vitae should be. However, at this point of time, we would be focusing on your resume. So your resume is a curriculum vitae is also a document that talks about your skills and responsibilities, your education. However, resume, it gives you a limited knowledge, wherein curriculum vitae is used by people over 15 years of experience. For example, if I have to work on my experience, as I said, I come with an experience of 22, 23 years. I have to mention detailed whereabouts of my roles and responsibilities in the organization that I have worked in my journey of 22 to 23 years. Are we clear? A very simple difference between a curriculum vitae and a resume is the detailed knowledge about it, or the detailed information that you share on it. Are we clear? Is it okay if I move to the next slide? I'm waiting for Soumya to go ahead. Give me a go ahead. Yes, can I?
Yes, Nimble.
Thank you so much. So, guys, always remember this resume that we're going to work on, it's a ticket to an interview. Here, the person has not seen you the same way you haven't seen Craig, Darius, and so on. This is something that helps the recruiter understand who you are, what are your professional skills, your qualifications, and so on. There are many templates which helps you to create your resume. However, most of the time they all look the same, right? And we would be going, I would be taking you through some websites which would help you understand, okay, fine. What is so different in the resume that I make on, right? So always understand one thing. This document of yours is something that has to capture the reader's interest, right? It has to be a communication, a written communication that differentiates you from others. And when I do not, and when as a recruiter, I do not see anything differentiating, be with your skills, your abilities, or the content you have added to your resumes are not selected, right? So resume is not just CV, which is a history of your life, right? Wherein you add all the things that you have done. No, you have to ensure that you add the crisp and the clear information. So the resume, I would say, is an extension of who you are. It's a branding tool, yes, and it helps you to understand the market as well. So it's very, very important for me to focus that this marketing tool, which is helping me to understand the which is helping the recruiter to understand the job requirements, should be set with the right tone. Very, very important. And let's look at it. Why do we create a resume, right? As I've said earlier, this is something to get you an interview and not the job. It is an introduction to employees, talking about your skills and strength. What kind of skills and strengths I'm going to add it in my resume. We would be talking in the upcoming slides. The interest that you create, an impact that you create is only within the first 7 to 9 seconds, guys. The first part of your resume, right, talks about uh, your skills, where are you coming from, what your objective is, what is that something that you're going to add on the table. If that is not clear, I would not be interested to go ahead and look at the resume in detail, right? So we would be looking at the anatomy of resume. What is something that my recruiter wants me to add apart from what he is looking for, right? So I have to have my objective. Nowadays, we are not writing objective as such. We are writing a summary. Always remember, guys, resumes are is something that keeps getting updated in the market, right? So there are ways of writing resume in a different styles and fonts and patterns, right? And after COVID, the situations have been changed, right? People who come with career gaps also, we would look and identify as to how do I add those gaps on my resume, right? So the most important thing is I need to understand what I'm applying for, right? If I have understood, I would be very clear with my career goals. I would be able to understand the job description, and then I would understand, okay, fine, am I the right person for this job, yes or a no? Also, I would suggest while you are working on your resume, go on the websites and review other resumes for reference. This is something that's gonna help you. Are we clear so far? Okay, great. I can see the chat. Yes. There are three types of resume. Okay, one is a chronological resume, one is a functional resume, and one is a combinational resume. I'm going to show you all different types of resume with their samples. Now, understand what's a chronological resume and which resume fits me. Which resume should I be working on? So, chronological resume, guys, is a resume format that lists your professional experience from the most to the least recent. It is also known as a reverse chronological. The only fact that my interviewer wants to know is to what have I done recently, right? And this chronological resume works for the individuals with a consistent and extensive 3 to 5 years of work experience. So if you are someone who falls under the bracket of 3 to 5 years, please go ahead and work on a chronological resume, right? Are we clear with the chronological resume? Next comes the functional resume. Functional resume focuses on skills and abilities. It highlights your technical and soft skills required for the position. It is very, very important. Many people would not pay attention to soft skills, right? If at all they pay attention to soft skills, in 3 to 5 years, they would add leadership skills. They would add excellent communication skills. And what you have mentioned on your resume, if you're not able to project with that particular skill, oh, I have digged my own grave, right? So let's not do that. Any skill that you add on your resume, you should be very comfortable explaining it. So this functional resume works best for the individuals with little experience that they come with. However, the combinational resume is a resume which is a mix of both a chronological and functional resume, wherein it highlights or it focuses both on experience, skills, and strength. It highlights your over experience, and this goes for both. It even goes for the people who come with a minimal work experience, and it also goes for the people who come with an experience of uh, between 10 to 12 years. Are we clear with these three type of resumes? Chronological, functional, and combinational. Now let's see a couple of examples wherein you would get an idea of how do they look like. If you can see the chronological resume, can you see? Financial advisor with 7 years plus experience delivering financial investment, advisory services. There was a time when we used to write objective, guys, right? So what is the difference between objective and summary? Can anybody help me understand? Chronological, yes, it is reverse
Will say,
chronological,
yeah.
absolutely.
Rajwal
Which
says
resume is ideal
resume is
for?
ideal for 8 to 10 years of experience.
I would say a combination resume. Prajwal, that gives a complete idea of what you have done, what you are doing, and what you are looking for, right? So see, guys, in a chronological resume, it gives a very little information about yourself, right? Let's look at the functional resume. What is something different? It adds the competencies, it adds your interest. Always remember when you are adding interest, right? Ensure that this interest of yours should be related to the job that you're looking for. Do not write uh, interacting with friends, chit chatting, right? And so on. So, your interest, if at all you are mentioning interest, please ensure that you are adding it to the um, job description of yours, the profile that you're looking for. Okay, how many of you would say education should come here and professional experience? This font is okay. This pattern is okay. How many of would you agree with me? What should come first, the education or the professional experience? Are we getting any answer?
Education, yeah.
Education should
Profess
come first. Okay.
um yeah, somebody says Moninder says professional experience should come
Mhm.
first.
I do agree that education is a very important aspect, right? A person wants to know if you're a graduate and if you have done it, if you have completed your graduation. However, guys, your experience matters the most, right? So your experience should come up first, right? And then the education. Look at this. Can you see the resume summary? The summarization of skills, the work experience. Here, instead of even writing the summarization skills, guys, you can even write core competencies, which talks about the skills that helps you, which talks about the job and your responsibility. So you can always use the core competencies as well here. And then goes the work experience in a reverse chronological order, and then comes the education. So please work on a combinational resume, is what I would always suggest. This is something that is very important for you to understand, right? The employer's point of view. Screen out applications which are unfit. If you're not getting the attention within the first 7 seconds or with the first half page, then there are chances of you getting not selected or you getting simply eliminated, which is more of an exclusion than an inclusion, right? So we all know for a fact, guys, you had 4 resumes right in front of you and you had taken 30 seconds for it to screen, right? I have hundreds of resumes with me for at least 2 to 3 positions that I'm looking for, right? Out of which I have to ensure that I at least select top 5. So I should have a reason, right? I should understand that why your resume stands out differently, right? So let's discuss the resume that you liked and type and see why it is. Can somebody identify the error here? A couple of examples are taken from resume labs. Who can identify the error? What is the error in this resume?
Spelling mistake.
Where is the spelling error? Which one?
Years are missing.
Years are missing. Oh, year is there, right?
Month should come before a year. Before year.
Okay, so the format of the
Server.
date is server. And can you see the other server? Oh my goodness, I have no idea. Which server should I go with, right? This is one example of bad spelling and grammar. And this is one of the quickest way to get your resume thrown away, right? If you're not bothered to do a spell check of your own resume, you think somebody would trust you to handle the responsibilities of a full-time job? Absolutely not. And if you submit a resume like this, whoa, I do not even care to go back. I do not even care to look into the responsibilities that you have mentioned here, right? So please ensure that you get your resumes checked twice or thrice, or if you have a help, please get it checked by them, right? Let's identify an error over here. At times we do create resumes like this. So Christina Jacobs, customer service representative, she had mentioned her contact detail, her experience is mentioned. What is the experience? Okay, the date is 01/2020 till present. Okay. What is something that can be different here, guys?
Big font used for the name and
Okay.
designation.
Okay. Agree. What else? See how quick we are able to identify the errors in the other's resume. I'm sure after the session, you would be able to identify the errors in our own resumes as well, right? What else apart from the font? Good job. There's something very important that most of the times we miss on. What is that? Somebody can
Gap
help
in
me with.
experience.
Okay, gap in the experience. Uh-huh. What else? Okay, look at the responsibilities, guys. Let me give you a clue. Responsible for receiving calls from customers, tasked with updating clients on connection status, try to create positive rapport with customers, use software to log customer feedback. Is that okay? The responsibilities that are mentioned there, are they okay? Yes, no, maybe.
The responsibilities are very basic and expected. Pradeep Kumar
Okay.
says. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you, Pradeep. Thank you for being so participative. I appreciate. My recruiters, are you
Moninder
accepting the
try
feedback?
to create positive rapport. This should not be mentioned.
Okay, fine. What else? The what I feel here is the responsibilities that have been explained, right? Responsible for or tasked with. It is it is an information without providing any details about your actual accomplishments or actions, right? And that doesn't communicate much about your responsibilities, what you have done. So it's just that you have mentioned about the responsibilities and not the accomplishments at all, right? Though the bullet points are used, right? However, they are not describing the specifics of the experiences, right? Probably she could have used numbers or she could have used action verbs to highlight as to what actually she had accomplished in the previous position, right? Do we agree with this? Let me show you an example of how can this be better. Say, for example, somebody writing responsible for increasing sales. Guys, always remember one thing. The recruiters or the interviewers are finding out reasons to eliminate. And this is the best reason for them to eliminate because I do not understand what have you done differently, right? So if I have to say the same thing, saying responsible for increasing sales, it doesn't help me understand what have you accomplished. However, if you say developed a new sales strategy generating over $4,700 in revenue, gives me an idea as to what have you accomplished in numbers. Do we all agree with this? So writing responsibilities with vague information is not accepted. Though she might have used power words like tasked and responsible, it doesn't give a clarity of what were the accomplishments. Always remember, do not add your responsibilities in a vague manner. Ensure that you use action verbs, or if you are able to use the numbers, please go ahead and use the numbers. Are we clear with the responsibilities and the accomplishments? If you have any questions, let's park it and I will address it towards the end of the session. Let's identify the error over here. What is something good that you have observed in this resume, apart from the font? I know I'm sure you would be answering the font. Are we getting the answers for the font, Soumya?
No, not yet.
Not yet, okay. My interviewers, my recruiters, where are we?
Casual font.
Casual font, okay. Apart from the font, help me understand what is good in this resume. What is something that is acceptable? If you have to look at, if you have to avoid the font, what is something that is acceptable?
Accomplishments are good.
Accomplishments are good. Yes, I agree. These candidates avoid the handwritten style fonts, first of all, on your resume, right? And this candidate's professional experience really seems impressive. Pitched and wrote weekly stories for, so she comes with a different role altogether, right? However, the font, as you rightly said, is difficult to read. And this would turn off my hiring manager. Do not additionally add your stylized fonts or, you know, add any other applications because it makes the process difficult for us to screen it, right? It makes it even worse to look at the resume and it's clear that you will reject this. So what is the point of mentioning reported on 2018 congressional races as well as the Senate hearings? Now this is something I would not agree with. Let's not write something very critical to what you have done, right? So let's avoid writing like this reported on 2018 races as well as Senate hearings. You might have worked on it, but let's not add something that can be, can go against us. So let's not do that. So there are a couple of things that I need to take care of. You have seen a lot of examples with the errors out here. Now let's see how can I make my resume not one of them. So there are 4 principles that you need to work on. Be specific, which is always better than being general, right? Tell them what you are looking, what are they looking for, and if you have understood, where do you fit yourself? Be concise with the information. Do not add anything and everything. Storytelling is very, very important in your resume building as well, guys. And when I say that, ensure that you do not add all the characters of your storytelling in a resume. Be more careful than careless, as we have seen with the spelling errors of server and servers, right? Be accurate than being creative. This is one of the best example of being accurate than creative. Let's not be very creative with our fonts. Are we clear with these 4 principles on preparing a resume? A quick yes or a no so that I can move ahead with the next slide.
Yes, Nehal.
Great. Thank you so much. The components of resume. Let's look at what are the things that I should be adding in my resume. We have heading, we have job objective or summary, we have core competencies, work experience, project details, skills, yes, as I've discussed, a combination of technical and soft skills, your education and personal details. We're also going to look into these components in detail. So let me move ahead with my next slide, which is heading. This is one of the key steps to write or design your resume, guys, with a header, right? Which have your name, your contact number, which is in working state, your LinkedIn ID. This is very, very important for you to include so that the recruiters can reach you out, right? Very simple. If you would like, you can be creative with a header and you can use a custom font or layout. How many of you say that I should be adding a picture in my heading?
No picture.
No picture? Absolutely, right. It again depends where you are applying for, which country are you applying for. So here, guys, most of the times in India, we do not prefer adding up pictures on a resume, right? Ensure that your heading is very simple, very clear, gives out a clear information. Your email ID should not be cooldude74@gmail.com. No, please, you have to have a professional email ID. Please ensure you add your LinkedIn link and the other details to your header, right? Very simple. Let's move to the objective part. Most of the times, people try and get their objectives from Google. I would suggest please never do that. You might take an idea of how to write an objective. However, it's a very simple process of writing an objective, right? So you have to be very specific of what you are writing. You have to talk about your attributes and your strengths. You have to address your objective, what position I'm applying for, right? So if somebody wants to try, we can always try and write an objective right after I complete my presentation, wherein you would get an idea how do I write an objective. So these are again optional, guys. However, I would say they are important, right? It helps you to focus your skill set. It helps you to highlight what is best and unique about you. Also, at the same time, it's very crucial. It helps the interviewer understand what you're able to do and what value you add to the table. So please be very specific when you write an objective. I have some examples for you here. Say, for an example, somebody is applying for an entry level. So you can always say to secure an entry level position using my volunteer experience along with my client focus and result oriented approach. So what you're telling, you are mentioning here that what position are you applying for and what are the skills that you add value to the table. You are result oriented. Your result oriented approach is something that's going to help you. If you come with an experience, you can always write something like this that you can see on the screen. Nowadays, people prefer to write about the profile summary, which is a little different from the objective. I will also show you the difference between objective and profile summary. Profile summary is all about what position are you applying for, what kind of an experience you come with, your skills, your abilities, and your qualifications. So this is an example of your objective and your summary. Objective statement is seeking a position teaching middle school history, geography, or social studies, right? The same way, this would be your objective, which is simple, short, clear. Your summary statement might be accomplished and enthusiastic teacher with 8 years of experience in elementary and middle schools. So am I focusing on these skills? Am I talking about what position that I'm applying for? Am I talking about the experience? Just have these 5 things in mind and look at this summary statement. Does it talk about all 5 things that we have spoken about? Always remember, the interviewers would always look at the top part of your resume. So it's very, very important to start with something which is compelling and eye-catching, guys. Right? There are various alternatives to the resume objective that you can consider. You can always use the power words that describes you as a person. Very simple. Right?
Snehal, sorry to interrupt.
Uh-huh.
Can you show the previous slide, Venkata?
Sure.
What?
Absolutely here. Here we are. Are we able to see?
Yes, got it. He says got it.
Right.
Thank you, Snehal.
Always remember, guys, whether you write an objective or you write a summary statement, keep one thing in mind that you always use an elevator pitch to kick off your resume. Always write what you're looking at, what are your goals, what is the experience that you come with, and what are the expertise that you uh, differentiate yourself from others. So always use an elevator pitch. The education, as I said already, has to be in a reverse chronological order. You can also add your certifications, your degree, your major in school, right? With this education, guys, try and add it towards the end of your resume, right? Yes. Your research, your experiences. Yes, if you are someone who is into research and experiences, please ensure that you list the positions in a reverse chronological order. You separate them with the thesis, the research. You add the dates uh, in an order with the position, the title, the organization, key elements. This is very important. We had seen a couple of resumes before which had no format of writing a date, right? Other relevant skills. This is very, very important. Special techniques, instrumentation, unusual computer programs. What can be unusual computer programs or special techniques? Can somebody help me understand what comes under special technique? Soumya, are we getting any responses for special techniques or unusual computer programs? Guys, when I say
Certifications.
okay, the certifications, perfect, right? Also check whether the certifications are expired or not. Otherwise, please do not add it in your resume. Unusual computer programs, please ensure that you do not add Microsoft Word and Excel as a knowledge. Everybody knows that. Yes, if you have done something with Power BI, which is a recent program that you have learned, please go ahead and add. Languages, Hindi, English, Marathi, Bengali, whatever. If you have learned something new, please add in there, right? Do not add the skills which are very common. Please avoid adding your age, your marital status, number of children, religion, national origin, hobbies. Please, let's not add this. I have nothing to do with this. Are we clear? Adding responsibilities. This is the most important aspect when you add your responsibilities. In order to shine and get an interview, guys, please ensure you tailor your resume to each position. When I say tailor your resume to each position is, do not send the same resume for all the positions that you're applying for. This is
Snehal,
one
sorry
common
to
mistake.
interrupt again. Prajwal
Sorry.
is asking to show the previous slide again.
Okay. Yes. Thank you so much, Soumya. So focus on determining or demonstrating how you contributed to the success. Identify the key achievements. I want you to make a note of these adding responsibilities, guys. I would also help you in the next slide with the powerful words that you can use, right? Add pointers from job description. Whenever you are tailoring your resume, the best and the easiest thing for you to do is read the job responsibilities, and you will be able to stand out and show your value effectively by using these keywords. Instead of writing duties and responsible, you can say transformed, increased, achieved, and so on. So these are the ones that are there that you can always make a note of. In Google also, you have a lot of powerful words that you can use on your resume, guys. Instead of saying I come with excellent communication skills, ensure that you are very good at your communication skills, guys. Otherwise, please do not add. Otherwise, it would be inviting trouble for ourselves. Formatting the resume. This is very, very important. There was a question somebody had asked, okay, fine, how many pages of resume should I have, right? Please remember one thing, hiring managers do not have time to look at each resume. Ensure that your resume goes max of 2 page, right? Let's not overwhelm the busy hiring managers there, right? The result is most of the times your important qualifications or achievements are overlooked. And not only that, if you do not come with a particular years of experience, it makes no sense for you to add anything and everything, right? So if you have an experience which is less than 10 years of relevant work experience, you should stick to 1 page resume. If you come with an experience of over 10 years, please go ahead with a 2 page resume. Ensure your resume layout is easy to read and properly aligned. Are we clear? Formatting the resume. Always consider to convert it into the PDF, guys. Do not send the Word document. The fonts, please ensure the unprofessional and hard to read fonts are not accepted, right? Additionally, the stylized forms that we had seen are difficult for application software to process as well. So the best of the forms or the accepted forms that you can see on the screen are Times New Roman, Georgia, Arial now, Calibri, Cambria, and so on, right? And the ones that are not accepted is right, you can see here. Do's and don'ts, please pay attention. I know our lives can be colorful, but do not use all the colors in your resume. There's a thumb rule that you can use, a combination of 3 colors, wherein if you are using blue, right? So try and ensure you use a dark blue and a light blue with black uh, headers. If you are using black, ensure that you use a combination of black, gray, and dark blue. Those are the only 2 colors that you should be using. Please, as we have discussed, avoid unnecessary personal details. Idioms should be avoided. Short form should be avoided. Using personal pronouns should be avoided, right? Please edit, your resume to any responsible or to any job description that you look for. Skills are very, very important. So be creative with words, the words that I had shown you in the previous slides. Anybody who is aware of what is ATS, an applicant tracking system? Most of the companies, this concept came from US, guys, where they used to, screen uh, the applications. Most of the times that was been done by the recruiters here, wherein they used to screen. Now ATS does that. It helps the recruiter to make his her job easy to filter the resume according to the keyword, right? So say, for example, if somebody is looking for uh, a marketing job, right? So they would have particular keywords that are used for that particular job description. If you are not using the right keywords, your resume would not even be selected for that particular job, right? You might be wondering, oh my God, Snehal, I have applied so many places. Why am I not getting selected? Because ATS is not able to screen your resume well. If you have used tables and columns, ATA is not able to identify those tables or columns. I would request you use both the short forms and the long forms. At times, some ATS compliance would be able to use the MBA. Some of them would not be able to use. So be on a safer side. MBA in a bracket, you can write Masters of Business Administration and so on. So there are ways where you can fix this ATS by tailoring your resume with the job description, right? A quick recap, guys. Choose a resume format. I'm going to share a couple of websites with you where you can have the resume format, add your education, certifications, and any relevant information towards the end. Tailor your resume, polish your grammar and formatting. Always ensure that you use active voice and not passive voice. These are the common resume mistakes that we make, using the same resume all the time, as I have said earlier, right? Focusing on tasks and responsibilities. Add your responsibilities. However, explain them with your achievements, right? We have learned about the length of the resume, so it should not be too short or neither it should be too long, right? What is an active voice and passive voice? If you can see here the example, profits were increased by 30% after implementation of new protocols. Is it really needed for me to write such a long statement? No, I can always write implemented protocols, which led to a 30% or a 20% increase in profit. That's it. Simple. So in order to shine, you have to demonstrate on your active voice and not the passive voice. Has anybody experienced this, an employment gap on the resume? A couple of us during the COVID times, because of our health issues or family issues or any personal issues, we might have had an employment gap on our resume, right? And it's very, very critical for me to understand how do I work on this employment gap. So there was a wonderful article that I was going which stated these 2 things: venture out on your own and expand your network. What does this mean? So say, for example, if you have recently lost your job and you're worried about how long it will take to get hired in today's market, there are a couple of ways that you can use your resume in a best manner, right? I would say start investing your time in learning something, right? Being a self starter is a trait that can be valued by the majority of employers. Now, when I say that, for example, I lost my job today and I have no idea when would I get the other one. So what do? I start working on a small venture of mine, or I start involving myself in some activities that helps me grow professionally, right? What is important, or what is impressive, that a person, when he creates something out of nothing, right, is when you venture out on your own. Your project can take on many forms, but we have to understand and identify, rather than showing that employment gap for a couple of months or couple of years, which states that you have done nothing. It's better you work on something and you add it, right? You talk about the industry that you have kind of explored, or the position, the other positions that you have explored. You might have worked on different projects, right? Rather than sitting idle, I have ventured myself, or I have been actively participating in couple of things, is what you can always mention, right? Are we clear with this? Look at the example here. His name is highlighted
There is a
here.
question here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Prajwal is asking, won't we lose opportunities if less words or keywords are available? If it's a one or two page?
Say that again, Soumya.
Am I audible?
Yes. Won't we
He's
lose
asking,
opportunities
yeah,
if
won't
less
we,
keywords are available? If it's a
if
one or
it's,
two page resume? More words, more possibility to get filtered in ATS. Absolutely no, Prajwal. This is something that we come with a myth, right? What if you are not using the right words for the job that you're looking for, right? So try and ensure that we do not add a hell lot of information on my resume. No, absolutely not. It's not needed. I do not have that much of time to go through each and every responsibility of yours that you have done, right? So see, if you can see here, this gives you an example of what has the person done. He has generated some amount of million ROI to date, right? He's being very specific. Come out of the myth saying if I add too many responsibilities, if I add a lot of power words, I'm going to get selected. No, absolutely not, right? So that's a myth. Let's not work on that. Always ensure that you highlight your valuable credentials, right, at the top. Please take care of that. I am sure there might be some people who are from the middle management level. Please ensure the best way to start your resume, right, is to use a resume summary, something like this, right? Because these summaries are helpful for management level to see what you are focused on. And there, if you're from a middle management, it is more of achievement focused. So when you use a resume summary, guys, it is where you are quickly highlighting your most impressive accomplishments as a manager to your employers. So if you are in the middle management, please go ahead and use a summary. Use action words, right? That helps you express yourself better. Another example of you having gaps on your resume. There was a wonderful resume that I was going through when on resumegenius.com, is when he was very honest with the gaps that he added, right? Does anybody have a question? If I come with a gap, where should I add that? Where should I add the gap? The right place to show an employment gap on a resume is your work history, right? Where can you see the gap here? 2017 to present sabbatical, right? He's not working, right? A couple of words that can be used for the middle management. A couple of websites that you can guys go through. Resume Builder, Online Builder, then you can go to Canva, you can go to Zeti.com and so on. where you would get various templates. Ensure that you choose the right template. Choosing the right template, adding the right information is something that's going to help you be different from others.
Snehal, can you share these links on the chat?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Let me stop sharing my screen and I will add those links in the chat. Guys, any questions?
Nehal, once you're done sharing the links, can you also reshare the second last slide?
Sure, I would do that as well. Can we add certification professional summary? Certification should be of with a different header. Certification will not come in the work history. Yes, guys. Any other question that I can address? I'm not able to copy those words here. Do you want me to copy the slide? Let me try doing that here. I'm not even able to copy the slide. I wanted that I will show you the second last slide. Yes, absolutely, I can do that.
Can you show second last
Yes,
slide?
yes, yes. This is the one. With the words, right?
Is this the one in the? Yes, yes, Nehal. This is.
Okay.
And also slide 46 again.
Sure. Here he has added about his gap, the employment gap. Guys, it's okay for you to have a gap on your resume, right? I am sure nobody would do that deliberately. It might be because of health reason. It might be because you have chosen a course to do, right? It might be of any reason. Why is that most of the times we are not comfortable sharing our gaps? Please engage yourself in something creative. And I am sure the recruiters do understand that this person had been productive in the days when he was not working. Yes, guys, any other questions that we have?
Moninder says it was a great session. Now I know what mistakes I'm doing in my resume. Thank you, Snehal, for and knowledge it.
Thank you so much. What is the relevance of covering letter? A cover letter is a document where you talk about, it's an introduction of who you are and the skill set. It also talks about the education, and it is not written in a way we write the resume, right? So cover letter is more, most of the times the cover letter is written in paragraphs, right? However, it talks about ourselves more like a profile, right? So cover letter talks more about a profile and not like a resume, where we are not talking about the roles and responsibilities. So I would start a cover letter with an example of, thank you so much. I had, seen the advertisement in whatever the position in LinkedIn.com, and why I feel that I'm the right candidate for this particular job is where you mentioned the reason. Cover letter can be like summary with more details. Absolutely, yes, Pradeep. Does cover letter also get screened by ATS? No. Resumes get screened by ATS that I'm sure of. Any tips for career change resume? Absolutely. When you are trying to change the career, please ensure that the objective or the summary that you mention, there you clearly state what position you were working as and what are you applying for. That is very important. So if you had been working as a marketing person, right, and if you want to get into the IT industry, So write, add 2 adjectives for yourself. Say, for example, dedicated, focused individual with an experience of a marketing professional, the number of years, and then you talk about seeking a position for an XYZ profile. So please ensure that you mention both the roles. Very, very important, because the recruiter would be confused as to what have you applied for and what are you coming as. So this is very, very important that you mention both. No, absolutely not. Why would he be treated like a new candidate? See, if you come, I understand if it's a new career for yourself. However, if you have chosen the right response, if you have aligned your responsibilities with the previous job of yours, I am sure he would be able to not consider you as a fresher. It is how you choose the right words for yourself. Use the right keywords to big ticket. Okay, you're welcome, Prajwal. So guys, with this, I hope I was able to help you understand various resume techniques. Go through these websites, keep your eyes open, and I'm sure you would be able to, make a difference the next time. And before you submit your resume, get into the shoes of a recruiter and, screen your resume and then say, okay, fine. Should it be accepted or rejected? And I'm sure with this webinar, you would be working on a great resume. All the best for your future endeavors. Thank you, Soumya. Thank you, team. Have a wonderful weekend ahead. And thank you so much for being a part of the session today.
Thank you, Snehal. Thank you, everyone. Also, I've
Bye.
I've shared you the link of the next upcoming webinars. You can.
Oh, yes, absolutely. There, what we're going to work on now, we have in the last webinar when we worked on building our brand. This webinar, we worked on how do I create my resume? How do I, project my skills? The next webinar would be on how do I build my social media presence, which is very, very important, right? So keep yourself tuned in and I will see you very soon, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Thank you, Soumya. Prajwal, Soumya would be able to help you with the details. Soumya, is it okay if I can drop the session? Have another session to join in?
Yes,
Would that
yes,
be okay?
Snehal. Yes.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, team. Take care.
Thank you.